In this lecture, we are going to look at how you can practically implement AI-driven TDD with Cursor. In the Pitfalls and Best Practices section, we had a lecture titled TDD in the Age of AI, and there we covered all of the principles. Now we are going to practically apply it in Cursor. In the previous lecture, we did the same in Claude Code, and in the next lecture, we'll do this with GitHub Copilot. We'll basically start by creating a specification. This will be in the form of a spec.md file, and then we'll let the AI write the failing tests from the spec. We'll then point the AI to the tests and ask it to implement the function that the failing tests are attempting to test. And then we basically own two things. We create the spec, and then we review the failing tests, and we review the function that Cursor will implement from these tests. Now let's look at the TDD diagram again so that it makes more sense. We have three steps in this process. The first step is called the red step, and this is when the AI writes the failing tests from the spec. This is the spec.md file that we are going to create. After that, we'll ask the AI to look at the tests and then create the function from the tests that are based on the spec. And then the last step is the refactor step, the blue step. This is where we can clean up the code, and then we can do it with confidence because the tests will protect the behavior. If we break it, the tests will fail, and then we can fix the code again so that the test passes. And essentially, the tests are the rules that are based on the spec, and the code needs to conform to that. Now we are going to get hands-on. Importantly, Cursor setup links and instructions were provided in the Generating Tests with Cursor lecture under the Agentic Test Generation with AI Coding Agents section. Now, this code will be under section 5, lecture 21, and then start. Again, you could find the code downloadable in the resources section of this lecture. The first thing we are going to do is to create a virtual environment for our Python project, and then we'll get started with the spec.md file. So let's go ahead and open up Cursor. Now you'll see under section 5, we have lecture 21. But instead of working in here, we want to go ahead and open up our start directory only. So let's go to File, Open Folder, section 5, and lecture 21, Start. And then you'll see that we have an empty start directory here. So we want to start by opening up our terminal. I went to terminal and then new terminal, or you can hold down Control Shift plus the backstroke. And then we are going to create our virtual environment. So if you are in Linux and you've never created a virtual environment, specifically a venv virtual environment for Python, then you will have to install Python 3.10 venv or just change it to your version. So let's go ahead and check the version of our Python installation, Python 3 in Mac OS and Linux, and then -- version. So just Python in Windows. So because I have Python 3.10, that's why I had to install the Python 3.10 venv. But if you have Python 3.11, for example, you will install that. Next, let's create the virtual environment. So Python 3-m venv for Mac OS and only Python again for Windows. Again, I've added a copy of the slide deck to the resources section of this lecture that you can download, and then you can copy these commands and prompts from here. So you'll notice that it created this .venv directory, and then in the bin directory, we have this activate shell script, and that's exactly what we're going to do next. So for Mac and Linux, it's source, and then we pointed to that activate shell script. And then for Windows, it's slightly different, .venv scripts activate. And then you'll notice if it shows the .venv in front of your username in your terminal, then it means that you now have your isolated virtual environment active. And then we need to install PyTest inside of our project's virtual environment, not globally onto our machine. And like I said, because it shows venv there, that is exactly where it's going to be installed. Now that our environment is set up, let's start with our AI-driven TDD. So the first step is the red step, like I mentioned, and this is where we're going to create the spec and also where we'll ask Cursor to create the failing tests from the spec. So let's look at the spec quickly. The spec is for overdue book late fees. So we are telling it that we need a late fee function with a days overdue argument, and then it should return the fine for an overdue library book. When you're overdue for 1 to 3 days, there is a grace period with no fee. And then each day after the grace period adds a 50 cents fine. And then the total fine is capped at $10. And if you have a negative days overdue that's passed to the late fee function, then it should raise the value error. So let's go ahead and copy the contents of our specification. And then here in Cursor, in the root, we're going to create a spec.md file. And now let's go ahead and copy our prompt to prompt Cursor to create the failing tests. Before we go back to Cursor, let's read through it. So we're telling Cursor to read the spec.md file and then write failing tests for the late fee function that will be created in the source directory. And then that test file should be created in the tests directory and be called testlatefees.py. It should be tests only, no implementation, and then cover every rule, including the boundaries. So let's go ahead and copy this prompt. And then we can simply say at and pick spec so that we know that Cursor has added it to its context. And now it should create the tests under a tests directory, and then it should cover every rule, including the boundaries. And then Cursor has successfully created our failing tests. Let's open up our terminal first to see if they are really failing. And let's run pytest space and then point it to our tests directory. And as you can see, our tests are failing. So let's open up our tests under the test directory in the testlatefees.py file. And then let's look at our tests here. So it basically copied the rules from the spec.md file. Then it's importing the late fee function that doesn't exist yet, and that's why our tests were failing. And then the first tests are based on no fee. So for 0 days and then 1, 2, and 3 days, you're not going to pay a fine. For the last grace period day, that's day 3, also not paying a fine. And then tests for the charge days. So on day 4, you're going to pay 50 cents. And then here we have our parameterized test with day 4, 5, 6, 10, 13, and 22, and the expected fines that you should pay. And then capped at $10. So if 22 days was $9.50, 23 days would be $10, 22, $9.50 again, 24 should be 10, and then even 1,000 days in this parameterized test will only be $10. And then negative input raises the value error -1 or any value below 0. Okay, so it looks like Cursor created our test successfully from the spec. Everything looks good. And now we can proceed to the next step. So the next step is the green step. This is where we're going to ask Cursor to implement the function from the tests. So before we do that, we just want to create a Cursor rule. And we're going to tell it that the tests are the specification. Never edit a test to make it pass. And this is very important for TDD. So this will be placed in the .cursor/rules directory, and we can give it any name we like. So go ahead and copy the contents. And then let's create a folder called .cursor. And then in there, we're going to create the rules directory. And then in there, we're going to create tests are the spec.md. And let's paste it there. So we're saying the tests are the specification, never edit a test to make it pass. The next thing is we're going to prompt Cursor to create the function, the late fee function, from the tests that it created. So we're saying the test is the executable spec for the late fee function, create the latefees.py file and the late fee function in there. So the whole file passes, run PyTest and iterate until green. Do not modify the tests. So let's copy that. And let's go ahead and select it again. So the tests, and then we don't have that yet, so we can't select it. And we're asking Cursor to create it for us. So now Cursor will look at these tests and then create a source directory. And in there, it'll create the latefees.py file. And then if we open up source, you'll find the latefees.py file. Go ahead and click on keep. As mentioned, our responsibility is to review what Cursor's generating. So here we have the late fee function, and we're saying if the days overdue is less than 0, we raise the value error. And then billable days, it's basically taking the max, which would either be 0 or days overdue minus the grace days. So if we have 4 days overdue minus 3 grace days, it's going to be 1, and then the billable days will be 1. And then we'll say 1 times the daily fee of 50 cents, and we'll take the minimum. So for example, if the billable days are 1,000, then the fee cap will always be the minimum at $10. And if it's below, then vice versa. So just keep all changes there. And let's go ahead and run these tests. So Cursor was supposed to run them, and it did. There we see that all 23 tests have passed. But let's go ahead and try it ourselves. So this time it should pass. And there we go. All 23 tests pass. The last step is the blue step. This is where we can refactor and clean up our code, and then the tests will protect the behavior. So we can, for example, rename things, extract constants, or restructure the code. Then if we run PyTest after each refactor, green should stay green, or the suite should tell us immediately that we've broken something. And that safety net is exactly what putting the test before the code buys you. So spec first, then tests become the spec, and then we create the code from the tests. If the tests fail, we know the code is wrong and not the tests, because the tests are the spec. So let's go ahead and do some refactoring here. So we can, for example, make a rename billable days calculated. This is very simple. And this is simply renaming a variable, and obviously that won't break anything. Or we can, for example, have another function and say calculate billable days and return that. So Cursor is figuring out what I want to change, which is cool. And there we call calculate billable days, and let's run our function again. But then if we change the rules, let's say the daily fee is 65 cents, then it's going to break. And then we basically have most of the tests failing. The reason not all of them are failing is the fee cap is still $10. So if we make that $11, we should have more tests failing. And if we say this should be greater than 0, then almost everything is failing. So as you can see, the tests are protecting us, and when we accidentally refactor it in a way that it breaks, then we'll know immediately. So let's go ahead and fix our code, not our tests. So we're going to say $10 and 50 cents as our daily fee. And this should be smaller than 0. And now all of our 23 tests are passing again. To end off, why is AI-driven TDD safe? Because the tests came from the spec. No code existed, so Cursor could not copy a bug from the code. The code came from the tests became the spec, so if the spec is violated, the test will fail and point back to an issue in the code. And then we started with spec, then test, then code. So that means bug encoding is structurally impossible.